It's for you.
Strange that you and I have never spoken on the phone.
Wait! Before we get started in this stabby film of a sequel, please hit that subscribe button right at the bottom. We are not in Woodsboro anymore. We are in New York City. Okay? Jenna Ortega is in college. She's doing her thing. Her sister, Sam, she comes along and she basically wants to be her protector because of everything that happened in the previous film. They were still trying to be meta in this film by pointing things out, being self-aware, but they didn't listen to their own self-awareness like they did in the fifth film. I mean,
I agree.
I was like, how many times can a person get stabbed and still stay up?
Jenna Ortega got stabbed so many times that I got confused. I was like, maybe she didn't get stabbed. She got stabbed within like 5 minutes. She got stabbed in the back, stabbed in the front, stabbed in the side. And she still got a scar on her hand. Sometimes she got stabbed in the last movie. Like, she has been stabbed so much. It feels like she's invincible. Like, and that is a big problem with the film in that as they say, the core four are 100% invincible. I'm not going to do too much spoilers here, but one member of the core four gets stabbed hundreds of times and somehow they're okay.
This person looks at the camera just while they're getting stabbed.
And then 5 minutes later, they're like, somehow I survived. What? That's ridiculous.
And it goes against their whole meta situation because of the point of the film. They're talking about, hey,
exactly,
everyone's on the table here.
Yeah, in the previous film, I feel like someone would have pointed out the fact that Jenna Ortega has been stabbed 1,000 times and pointed out the fact that other person's been stabbed 1,000 times and that other person's still alive. But they didn't. And I think it's because they didn't realize how silly that was, which to me makes this movie less smart than the previous film. Not only is it less smart, it is shocking how fast time moves now. One, I'm shocked that we already have Scream 6 and over Scream 5. Like, Scream 5 and 6 came out so quickly, back to back almost.
So quickly.
And in that amount of time, the idea has gone stale already? How did that happen? Not only is the movie stale and it doesn't really point out its own absurdities, which is something I went in completely expected them to do, but this might be a personal thing here, but I live in New York, and this film did nothing with the setting of New York. Not only that, it clearly was not New York. I've never seen a movie look less like New York than this film. First of all, the whole movie starts off in an alley. If you know anything about New York has virtually no alleys. It immediately pulled me out of the film. And again, that might be personal things. I live here. Maybe if you don't live here, you don't care about that kind of thing. It felt like whoever shot this film, maybe they came to New York one time and they went to like Times Square or something like that, and that's it. Like, because this movie didn't feel like New York, and they didn't try. They did nothing with the setting. We talked about this before. That I was like, why set this film in New York? Like, it's such a strange thing to do. I was like, I'm sure the movie will talk about that. I'm sure the movie will point it out, and maybe they'll be clever with it. Yeah. No, they're not. Because right after that alley scene, there's a scene inside an apartment where Ghostface is hiding in someone's apartment. In New York, the apartments are so small.
Bro.
How are you gonna hide in a New York apartment? Get out of here, man.
Well, and not only that, it's like the apartment that is occupied by is college students. They can't afford that amount of space.
They were playing hot and cold inside a New York apartment. Okay, I've got a relatively large apartment for New York. You cannot play hot and cold in here, okay? It's not that big. They might as well set this film in Oklahoma. Like, why set it in New York? They did nothing with the setting, especially since Scream is so specifically like a suburban type of a horror film. This was mostly set dressing, and they could have just played. This movie could have been set anywhere.
Yeah, and it's because of that is why, in my mind, it didn't really bother me because It's like I knew that this wasn't New York. It was filmed in Montreal, and they had set pieces. They had a bodega in there that looked like a Quick Trip. How big it was!
Yeah. My bodega. Okay, you cannot stretch your arms all the way out in the bodega. Okay, but in this movie, dude's got like a big shotgun. He's swinging it around. I'm like, come on, dog. He be knocking off everything. Like, get out of here. It's such a strange place to set this movie. I thought we'd comment on it. Nope, no commentary there. None. Zero.
The kills in this were gruesome, but not as gruesome as the fifth one. Okay. The motive behind this, you can see it from a mile away.
By the time we figured out who was under the ghost face mask, I personally didn't care. I remember in the fifth film, they kept giving you a lot of red herrings. They're like, is it this character? Nope. Is it this? Nope. And so you're like, maybe it's this one, maybe it's that one. In this one, that didn't really happen. They were just like, it could be anybody. It could be anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody. And I'm like, okay, anybody is not scary, right? It needs to be, I need to be suspicious of Jenna Ortega. I need to be suspicious of Melissa Barea. I need to be suspicious of our main characters.
I need to be suspicious of why the heck is Hayden Panettiere's back in town.
I forgot she was in the Scream series anyway. So I was like, oh, she was in here? Okay.
They tried to run with that, but it wasn't believable.
You know what also was not believable? That wig, boy. That wig was
terrible.
My God. I was like, Hayden.
I was like, Hayden, what?
It looked like this. I was like, what is that in your head, girl? It looked terrible. It was distracting.
Oh my God. But the key thing that I do have hope for, because this is gonna make millions. It's probably already made millions and millions and millions. So they're gonna make a seventh. But my hope for, if these are the same guys who write and direct the next one that's coming out, if you keep the whole story about Melissa Barea being related to a murderer,
I feel like that's the best part of the twist ending of the last film, that we learned that she is the daughter of the original Scream killer, and she has these urges inside of her to do violence, and she seems to really like it when she gets a chance to start stabbing people, and she can hear her father like speaking to her from hell, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool, The movie does nothing with it.
Maybe she could flip. Okay,
unless they're going to be very explicit from the beginning that she's the killer or something like that. I think we've already missed the opportunity to do something with that fun idea. But one of the positives is Jenna Ortega gets a much bigger role this time.
Oh yeah,
as we know, she gets stabbed 100 times in the beginning of Scream 5, and to the point where we think she's dead, but she's not somehow. She's pretty much the main character this time, which I think it's great. Good for you, And now she's a big time celebrity after Wednesday. So hey, perfect timing for her and her career. But it didn't help the movie too much.
Yeah, these last 2 years has been very, very good for her. As for the film series, that's where I'm like,
Yeah, I was so shocked at how dull the film was, how boring it was when they all got together and started talking about the movie rules and stuff like that. I was like, Lord have mercy. And that's shocking because I thought that was so fresh in the last film. I almost kind of want them to stop. But like you said, there's no way they're going to stop. This movie has made a lot of money already. And so it's got a bona fide star as its lead in Jenna Ortega. Yeah. So they're not going to stop. But I'm not excited for the future of this franchise. I don't know where we could go. It feels like we're done. Wow. It feels like they shot every gun they had in Scream 5, and now we're just clicking on blanks. Like there's nothing here. I wanted to like it because we've got a lot of goodwill built up here. I like our cast. I even like some of the new faces we got. Monica from Friends is back, and I liked her role. So there are things to like. But ultimately nothing for me came together.
Bruh, I said thank God Sidney Prescott wasn't in this film. It wasn't that because they didn't have a role for her or anything. It was a financial dispute.
They wouldn't pay her the amount that she thinks she deserves to be in the film. So that kind of sucks that happened. But I didn't miss her, and perhaps that shows the power of that fifth film. I actually didn't even expect her to be here anyway.
It shows the power of the fifth film, but also shows the power of Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barea to carry the film that they're in. Because besides all the story beats that were off and wobbly on this, Those two main characters did the best that they could within it.
Did you think the film was scary? Because I felt like it was not.
I don't think the film was scary at all. Quasimo's supposed to be there to be able to lead into suspenseful moments.
Right, trying to build tension.
Yeah, but I didn't feel that at all. I felt that they were trying to do a little love scene between Mason Gooding character and Jenna Ortega and stuff like that.
You expect in a Scream movie there to be tension and screams, but there weren't any. In the fifth film, they talked a lot about how the Scream series is so based around like landlines, and no one uses a landline anymore. So how does Ghostface operate in a world where landlines are obsolete? And I kind of expected them to talk about that again here. It was not talked about. The fear in Scream is that you're getting a call and you don't know who's on the other end of that line. It could be anybody, But now that everybody's got cell phones, you can see the number. So it's like, okay, yeah, no, I'm not gonna pick that up. You know what I'm saying? Like even in this film, I guess these are slight spoilers, where someone who died in the previous film is calling our main character's phone. So she's like, how is this happening? See, I just wouldn't pick up. Wasn't that in the film? And the film doesn't converse with that. Scream 5 would have been smarter, and it was smarter, and I feel like it would have conversed with that. But this one, she's just like, hello, and I'm like, what are you doing? Get off the phone.
Yeah. Even Jenna Ortega was like, don't pick that up. she said, don't pick it up.
She's like,
I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it anyway. Why?
Because the movie had to be pushed along.
Exactly. The movie's got to continue. And you can feel them, like I talked about before, how sometimes you can just feel the mechanics of the film, and that's never good.
Right. With the film being, a sequel to something that I really enjoyed, that was a surprise to me, I have to take major points off because of that. I have to. Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just rate this a C+. I think I gave the first one an A, and that's ridiculous. Did you fall 1 year make you go from an A to a C+?
Crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna fall even harder for me. I'm giving this one a C-. In the first film, not only did they talk about how formulaic horror films are, they also talked about how corny and lame and downright toxic the fan base is, right?
Yes.
Which is you, the audience, right? They pretty much look in the camera and it's like, you got problems. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I thought that was kind of funny, like, oh man, look at that. And they're not wrong. This film does not do any of that. It does that next level, that next step, it never takes. It doesn't even seem to know to take it. So this film feels less smart than Scream 5. And like I said, the idea of a self-aware horror film already, after one movie, already feels stale. So this, to me, was not worth my time. I didn't think it was particularly scary. By the time we finally revealed who was under the mask, I didn't care. I didn't care about their motives. I was ready to go. And that's such a shame because of the goodwill that was built up after Scream 5, because I genuinely loved Scream 5. Right. But Scream 6, no, fell right on his face.
Do you recommend this film?
I do not. I recommend you watch Scream 5. I recommend you watch Scream 1. Then I recommend you watch something else. Do not bother with Scream 6. This is no good.
I agree. Well, don't worry about any of the other ones. But more importantly, do you recommend this film to people? Please get in the comments and let us know what you thought of Scream 6.
Scream.
Thank you for clicking on this video. We really do appreciate you. Also get in the comments and let us know what's your favorite horror film. We'd like to know that too. Okay, let us know
what's your favorite scary movie.
All right. And if you're new to the channel, please get down there and hit that subscribe button. All right. If you did like our rating and review for this film, please hit that thumbs up. It really does help us out. Or you can hit the thumbs down, whichever you choose. It is your opinion. Just remember one thing, it is mostly wrong. See you guys in another movie.